2,900 foot per second with 2,700 foot-pounds of energy. That was another really big contender. And this one is the 6.5 Creedmoor. We'll never use that one. I am not a fan of the Creedmoor. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Beard, Brass, and Blood. Today I thought I'd talk about bullet calibers, bullet cartridges, and kind of the common ones I see around my hunting group, my family, and what one I chose for my hunts this year. I did a lot of research over the last 3 years trying to find the pros and cons to each of the ones in front of me here. After a lot of looking and a lot of digging on each and every one of these, I finally decided on one of them. So a few things I took into consideration. The first one is first and foremost is shot placement. You're not gonna down anything if you shoot it in the wrong place. But secondly, and second importance, is what you're gonna shoot your animal with. So I had a criteria when I was looking. My favorite hunt to go on is the elk hunt, and I had to look at different calibers, different bullet sizes, different cartridges. I kind of had a set parameter on what one I was looking at, which one I was going to choose. The bullet. So in order to kill an elk, you must be able to maintain 2,000 foot per second at point of impact, as well as have about 1,500 foot-pounds of energy when the bullet hits. My ideal hunting distance is 500 to 600 yards. That's like the max I want to go out. And then preferably a cartridge that someone else in my hunting group has on hand. That way we can swap bullets. So these are all the ones that you took into consideration. We'll start from the oldest one and work our way up in age. So first off is the 30-30 Winchester. This little guy right here. There are 2 or 3 people close to me that have this round. They don't really use it on elk, they use it more on the deer hunt. I thought I'd throw it into consideration. The average bullet weight of the 30-30 is about 150 grains. Muzzle velocity at the barrel is 2,400 foot per second with 1,900 foot-pounds of energy. It drops below that ideal ballistics at about 150 yards. No one carries it on the elk hunt. So then my next consideration was the good old 30-06. It's a good 30 caliber round. A lot of people have it. A lot of your not old timers, but a lot of your older generation of hunters will swear by it. It's been around since 1906, which is where the .6 comes from in the 30-06 name.
It only takes one bullet.
Your average bullet weight for the 30-06 is going to be about 180 grains. At the muzzle, it produces 2,700 feet per second with 3,000 foot-pounds of energy, which is fantastic, which means that the ideal ballistics drops out at about 450, but can push out to about 500 yards. So that was really one of my big contenders. Next up on my line is the 270 Winchester, something a little smaller bullet than the 30-06, but same case. Just neck down to a 270 cal. Your average bullet weight for that one is 150 grains. Muzzle velocity is about 2,900 foot per second with 2,700 foot-pounds of energy. That was another really big contender. Next up on my list is the one I actually killed this guy with, is the 308 Winchester. Average bullet weight for this one is about 165 grains. Muzzle velocity is about 2,700 foot per second, with about 2,600 foot-pounds of energy, which means this round is ideal for me to about 350 yards, which was great. Next up on my list is the 300 Win Mag, with an average bullet weight about 180 grains, muzzle velocity of 2,600 foot per second, with 3,500 foot-pounds of energy, which means that this one drops below my ideal shooting distance at about 450 yards. This one is a really big contender for me because there's a lot of people in my family who hunt with the 300 Win Mag. It's good round, long range, destroys your shoulder. Just a ton of felt recoil. Not too fun to drop more than 2 or 3 magazines worth out of that one. Next up is the one that my hunting partner has and loves. It's the 700 Rem Mag. Sorry, the 7mm Remington Magnum. Good grief. With a muzzle velocity of 2,800 foot per second, with energy at 3,100 foot-pounds, with the average bullet weight of 175 grains. This was another really big contender. And I have 2 right here that I didn't really put into consideration. I just thought were oddball rounds. This right here is the 325 Winchester Short Magnum. I do not have the numbers for this one. And then this one is the 6.5 Creedmoor. We'll never use that one. I am not a fan of the Creedmoor. So of all these that a lot of people in my family and a lot of people that I hunt with, I chose the 7mm PRC. It's not a round that anyone else that I know carries or shoots or hunts with, but when I broke everything down ballistic wise and the new rifles that were available, the new, like, a lot of the parameters that I was looking for, being able to be ethical for an elk out to 500 to 600 yards, none of these really compared to or meet up to that standard that I have for myself. I wanted something that was super flat shooting, something that was newer in the rifle and ammunition world. So the 7 PRC was just screaming at me. I like it because it's that 7mm bullet, kind of your all-around best bullet for deer, elk, and a lot of your western big game. It doesn't quite have the energy as a 30 caliber, but it's not too small. So with an average bullet weight of 175 grains, a muzzle velocity at 2,900 foot per second, with 3,100 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, this one drops below ideal at 600 yards. Now, it's not the cheapest round in the mix, but for me and the bullet points that I was looking at, the 7 PRC matched up the best to what all the different rounds that I was looking at. So you can tell me why I'm wrong. You can tell me what round you use. Let me know. Let me know if there was another cartridge that I should have looked at, or why on God's green earth I should use the 6.5 Creedmoor. Other than that, y'all have a good one. Be safe out there in the backwoods.